Okay, so good morning, everyone. Thanks much for joining this meeting. My name is Natalie, and I'm the CEO from the Joyce company. I do apologize a lot for the delay. We have a system issue going on, but well, we are here. So welcome, everyone, and we are going to start. Each one of my partners will make one interview to you guys, and please be just confident enough and be really calm. There's no pressure here. We are just going to looking for knowing you a little bit better. So no worries with that. We're going to start with the first interview. Please, each one of you, I will ask you guys to introduce a little bit of yourself, your name and your age to start with this interview. So please continue.
Okay, good morning. I'm Marumi Lozano. I am 23 years old. And well, begin the interview.
Okay, my name is Arturo, and today I'm going to make you the job interview. And let's start. It's for graphic designer. And the first question, tell us a little bit about your work background, and then give us a description of how you think it relates to our current opening.
Okay, I have a BA in animation and digital art, graphic design in one of my areas of expertise. I have been doing design work for marketing departments and clients for almost 2 years.
Okay, cool. What are your qualifications in your area of expertise? One, what skills do you have that make you the best candidate for the position, including any special training do you have?
I'm fully capable of using Adobe Creative Cloud Suite. Besides that, since animator, I also have advanced knowledge in motion graphic animation, and web design, and social media and campaign design, photography, and video edition.
Why you apply for this position?
I think I will be able to ground more with you and your team. I have been following your work for years, and this is exactly the place I'm looking forward to be, as well as its form of growth in my work life.
Okay, fine. Describe for me a time when you have come across questionable accounting practices. How do you handle this situation?
Well, there was a time in which I wasn't being paid my salary on time. I tried to talk with my boss about it, and he said that road times were coming. So he asked me if I could still work without payment. At first, I did it because I liked the project and the idea, but as the time went by and no salary was on my table, so I talked again with him because I couldn't work anymore for him. I think it was hard for both parts, but I was struggling in order to help him for as long as I could. I think that was because I loved what I was doing, but at the same time, I learned to appraise my time and my knowledge.
Okay. The next question. Define professional behavior and conduct appropriated
your
in the
work tells
workplace.
about who you are. It doesn't matter if it's a simple task or a really complicated, and when you must do your best to present it as best as possible. Also, be organized. I have a schedule. If you need 3 days to do something, speak it clearly, so you don't let people down with due dates. If you are not happy, try to talk about it, because if you're not happy, you won't do anything as best as you could. And be polite with all your partners and follow the ethics code.
That's right. And what was the most creative thing you did in your last job?
A complete recital of the logo and the visual identity of the company I was working for. It was a hard challenge, but I had a great mentor helping me.
Okay. What is your interpretation of success?
Being success means the accomplishment of desired vision and planning goals. Furthermore, success can be a certain social status, but I describe success as a rich prosperity in different areas of our life.
Okay. If someone told you that you had made an error, describe how you will react and what you will say in your defense.
First, I will be a little upset with myself, but I will listen to what the other person says about the error I did. If I really did something wrong, I apologize and correct immediately, even if I don't have to work extra time at home. If I think the other person is not right, I will try to explain to him or her what I did and how I approach it so we can get to middle point.
Okay, great. How do you know when you are stressed? What do you do to do de-stress?
The most effective way is that I get sick more often and I get tired in a normal way. What I do is this stressful situation is take a short break in addition to practice yoga and spend a little more time on one of my hobbies.
Okay. What are your strengths and your weaknesses?
Some of my strengths is my creativity, flexibility, adaptability, and concentration. On the contrary, my weaknesses are that I am indecisive, impatient, and very critical of myself.
Okay. What do you do when others resist or reject your ideas or your actions?
I will take a similar approach in a previous question. Try to get a middle point with the person reject my ideas. If no middle point could be reached, I will try to avoid confrontation and talk about it next time. And sometimes people take things personal and are unable to different personal from work.
Okay.
And when you cannot be yourself in a work environment, maybe it's time to find another place to work if everything else has been tried without success.
Okay. And the last question of the job interview, describe me an experience you have with clerical research and the complement of findings into an organized format, and how you would approach this task in this
I'm
position.
sorry, but I don't have any experience in this area.
Okay.
So, Isol?
Okay. Thank you for your time, Fumi.
Thank you.
All right, well, let's continue for the next posting, which is logistic executive. Hi, Rebecca. I'm in charge of your interview. It's glad to meet you. So what do you say if we start?
I'm 29 years old and I have a degree in logistics.
Oh, that's great. Thank you very much. Well, the first question I have for you is for you to describe your experience supervising other employees. How do you measure your effectiveness in this area?
Well, I will say that the experience in charge of others employees have been pleasant. I consider that you have to be skillful and emphatic before them to achieve a good relationship. Regarding effectives, I think it is great since it is not difficult for me to deal with other people and I have never had problem with employees.
That's great. That will help us a lot. The second question I have for you is for if you could describe what the work ethic phrase means to you.
For me, the word ethic encompasses all the behaviors, whether good or bad, that we have in front of the situation that present us at work. Particularly, my word ethic rejects inappropriate behavior with it. I do not tolerate negative acts for the company or the workers.
That sounds really good. Thank you very much. Could you please describe what would you say if I asked to talk about yourself in a group of 15 people?
I would start by introducing myself and talking a little bit about what I do. I would talk a little about my values as well as some flaws. I will ever talk a little about my hobbies.
Okay, all right, thank you. If someone asks you for assistance with a matter of that in outside of parameters of your job description, what would you do?
I will investigate of the subject of which it deals in order to find a solution or help the person. In case the subject is something very difficult or I can not help to solve it, I would look for someone who could support us so that the very way.
Okay, that sounds a really good process to follow up. Let's continue with the next one. If we were to be able to interview a few of your past employees, how would you describe your supervisory style? Explain why.
I think that they would describe it as a script book conscious and accurate supervision signs, as I have mentioned it. Despite being strict, I try to be emphatic and understand the workers. I understand that the work is imposing, but I think that the human factor and their well-being is just as imposing.
I do agree with you. Okay, let's pass to the next one. What coaching or mentoring experience have you had with groups or one-on-ones? How did you determine the appropriate way to coach mentor that we are going to have the appropriate results?
I have not really had experience of that type. I have been acquiring this knowledge with personal experience.
That sounds about right. Let's continue with the next one. Do you have a personal philosophy of management?
Within my personal philosophy, values and total quality are present. For me, these are the pillars of all good management, applying them the employees, ways of working, and others.
Okay, thank you very much. Tell me about your current position or the most recent position you had and how you helped the organization to accomplish their goals and mission.
Currently, I'm developing as a logistic executive, and the most recent previously position was the same. Also, the companies were engaged in different lines. Achieving the objectives in the companies was thanks to the perseverance and dedication that I was using in each of the tasks that were assigned to me, always looking for a solution in the best way, taking into account the vision and mission of the companies.
Oh, that's great. That sounds something that we can use to our company. Let's go with the next one. Tell me about your experience in leading and management an organization similar to ours.
I was working in a company that sold food similar to yours, but through its own internet platform. There I was in charge of a considerable number of people, and the organization with them was very good. We fulfilled all the tasks assigned, and even on occasions we had a little time left without the need to be rushed.
Okay, thank you. This is a really important question I will going to ask you. So I would like you to describe challenges you face in regards to coworkers.
There was an occasion that an employee didn't like that the work ethic was very present in the organization, but that problem was solved. The employee could understand why. That was the only time.
Okay, thank you. Um, Okay, let's going to put a situation here. If one of our employees comes to you to complain that he or she has a more demanding workload than other employee and wants to workload to be shifted, what would you do?
At that time, I will invite him to review the jobs that have been assigned to him and explain the reason to the situation signs. Also, it may be a lot of work for him. I always try to ensure that they have the same duties.
Okay, that sounds good. You're doing great, Rebecca. So let's go with the last one. In what areas would you like to develop further, and what are your plans to do that?
Personally, I like producing logistics since it seems to me one of the most imposing because of what has direct contact with the client. For this, I will apply everything mentioned above, such as ethics and other appropriate plans to achieve the goals of the company.
Okay, that sounds great. Well, thank you very much, Rebecca. I really appreciate your time with me today, and we're going to be in touch with you, all right?
Thank you.
Thank you, bye.
Bye.
Okay, my
Hi.
name is, hi, my name is Paulo Romero and I have 25 years old.
Okay, let's start. Would you describe experience supervising other employees? How do you measure your effectiveness in this area?
Well, I'm very observant with the different processes that are entrusted to me. When I observe a failure on the process, I search the solution to get better the system or the area to continue working.
Excellent. Would you explain the phrase work ethic and describe yours?
Work ethic is the prioritization of work individually or collectively with moral basis. For me, are good conducts that get better the level of process and beginning with me and are paced on different work groups.
Yeah, I'm agree with you. Next, describe would you say if asked to talk about yourself in a group of 15 people?
Okay, I'm a very optimistic person. I'm always looking for possible solution to different problems, and when I feel unfinished, I ask the professionals to help guide me. I consider myself very adept at planning different methods for different situations, and I'm very analytical.
Okay, that's great. If someone asks you for assistance with a matter that is outside the parameter of your job description, what would you do?
Yeah. First of all, observe carefully what is the situation. Afterwards, I will study the possible solution, and in case that stay was exhausted, I will resort to an expert in this matter of the problem.
If we were able to interview a few of your past employees, how would they describe your supervisory style? Explain why.
I consider myself to be very tolerable and somewhat relaxed. However, when it comes to working hard, I'm too demanding and very careful with every part of the job.
Okay. What coaching or mentoring experience have you had?
Actually, everything I got from the experience. From a very young age, I was involved in logistic processes. That is why I was maturing and experimenting with it. The treatment of people, groups, and higher managers I see as related to me because everything starts from my values and the professional and outstanding culture that has always characterized me.
Okay. Do you have a personal philosophy of management?
Yeah, respect for colleagues, love for my work, and excellent results are my philosophy. Science having these factors, everything managing process will go as you want.
Tell me about your current position or most recent position and how you help the organization accomplish its goals and mission.
Yeah. Well, my current position is at Estafeta de Mexico. I have worked 2 years and have managed to open new areas for potentially growing places, which translates into higher profits. On the other hand, I propose the implementation of community spaces since they make the worker feel comfortable and work more effectively for us so that we accelerate process that allow us to act in other areas continuously.
Do you tell me about your experience in leading and managing an organization similar to ours?
Yeah, I started with Interchat, the first formal process at Leonali. Leonali is a company that produces and distributes bacon, baked fruits, and vegetables, where I worked for 1 year. Later, the opportunity arose to work in Estafeta, and it's there where I have worked in logistics for 2 years.
Okay. Describe challenges you have faced in regard to coworkers.
In my experience, I try to make inmates because this cause general losses and working hours. I always try to dedicate myself to what they entrust to me and concentrate thoroughly on that.
Okay. One of your employees come to you to complain that she or he has a more demanding workload than other employee and wants the work to be shifted. What do you do?
Okay, in the first instance, I will make him understand that if he has the burden, it's because I consider him the best to solve the situation. If he doesn't understand that way, he will as a super with less burden. However, he will take another person into account to carry out this task and analyze the attitude for the first worker.
Yeah, I'm like it. And for the last one, in what areas would you like to develop further and what are your plans to do that?
Okay, well, I would like to work in logistic process since I know all the materials to be used for the correct operation of the package that are destined to different points. I know of packing and cubic capacity. For this reason, I would like to know more about your company to grow together.
Okay, excellent. We call you.
Thanks.
Thanks.
Hello, Mariana. How are you today?
Hi, good morning. Fine, thank you. And you?
I'm fine, thanks. So today I'm in charge of your merchandise manager interview. So just tell me a little bit about yourself, please.
Well, I'm 25 years old. I have a degree in merchandise. I have always worked in that area, and I would really like to get this job.
Okay, so let's start. So the first question, what do you think is the most important factor in managing an office effectively and efficiently? Explain how you have done this in the past.
Well, personally, I think the most important thing is teamwork. I have always tried to have communication with all the workers to keep a healthy environment in the office for them to feel comfortable in the space work and to reunite ideas, points of view in order to make the best decision for the company in every single way.
Okay. So the second one is, what is your approach to problems? Even as a example of where your approach has been effective.
Well, honestly, I don't have a single approach. It depends on the problem that we are dealing with, but my priority is always the company. So I try to make the best decision, the one that brings the company the best possible result, and it has worked for me in my past decisions.
Okay. And what goals did you set for yourself during your last position? Did you achieve your goals?
I have always worked in merchandise, so honestly, the goals were personal for me to achieve better positions, to be a better person, to work better because we need to improve and innovate all the time. So I'm constantly trying to achieve that.
Okay, nice. And what methods do you use to make decisions? When do you find it's most difficult to make a decision?
Well, in order to make a decision, first of all, we have to identify the problem so we can generate different possibilities to solve it. Then we need to evaluate all of those different possible solutions to our problem to choose the best possible solution that brings us the results we want. It's most difficult when it involves another workers because sometimes they cannot be agreed with our decisions, but one of the things that we have to do as to lead the department is to make all those difficult choices.
Okay, yes, I agree with you. And describe a time when you perform a task as outside your perceived responsibilities. What was the task?
Well, there was one time where we needed to work with the logistics department for the delivery of food dishes in a very important meeting. They needed to have all it ready, but they had some troubles and didn't communicate to the company that provided us the food. So I had to contact them and make all the process that needed to be made.
Okay, nice work. So this question is interesting. So if you observe a co-worker who made inappropriate sexual or racial remarks to another employee and it was obvious to you that the situation was creating an uncomfortable environment, what would you do?
Well, first of all, I would talk to the worker with the inappropriate behavior to see what is going on there, what is generating that particular comments or actions. Actually, I've been through there as a bully and as a person that had to make something about it. It's never easy to deal with something like that, but it's necessary because it can bring a lot of problems in the workspace. That time, things did not go as planned, and that person had to be fired. One of the things I hate but need to do sometimes.
Okay, good answer. And the next one, what is the best book you've read in the last year?
So the best book, I couldn't say just one because I love to read, but the last ones I've read are The Art of War, that it's about military strategies, but I like that all of them can be used in different aspects of our life. So it's great to see how you can apply them and use them to make better strategies or be more prepared.
Okay. Okay, the next question is, as a supervisor, it is essential to motivate employees in your area. Sometimes this must be done using not monetary means. Please describe some creative ways you have motivated and recognized employees in the past, not monetarily.
Well, I am a believer that teamwork is the most important thing. So for all of them to feel motivated, to feel heard and included. So we had a dynamic where the workers chose a person at the end of the week as the employee of the week. Also monthly, we had dinner where we not only discussed the operation of our department, but how they felt, their issues, and what was bothering them. So it's important to know how they feel so you can see what you can do to help them to make their best effort in work so you can have better results.
Okay. And tell me a little bit about your management style, like people, teamwork, and direction.
I like to have direct contact with the people I work with. I encourage them to work in team with the other workers in the department. I give direct, clear orders so they can understand what they have to do so they can do it right. And if someone needs guidance or advice, I'm always open for it. It's good that they feel they can come to you when they have an issue because that means for me that you're treating them right.
Okay. Management requires both good writing and verbal skills for good communication. When it comes to giving information to employees that can be done either way, do you prefer to write a memo or talk to the employee?
Talking to people, of course. As I mentioned, I like to have direct contact with the people I work with.
Okay, I agree with you. And the last question, when making a decision to fire an employee, do you find it easy because of the company's needs or difficult because of the employee's needs?
Either way, for me, it's never easy because I know them. I know their life. Sometimes I even consider them as close people. So I find it very difficult, except in the case where they were creating an unhealthy work environment. When they result to be a bad person is what they look for. So maybe it helps it to be a little more easy.
Okay, so that's all. You did great, Mariana. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much for receiving me.
Well, I want to thank you all for your time today. We really appreciate you taking the time out of your schedule to apply today. We will really have a hard work deciding. We are definitely in process of talented and hard workers today, but we want you to say each one of you to please continue reviewing your email constantly, since you will be notified with an answer. Thank you very much. Have a great day and please stay safe.
Thank you very much. You too.
Thanks. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.